All right, welcome to Waterloo Human Rights Commission press conference. This press conference was called in response to the leaflet campaign that started here in the city about a week, 2 weeks ago. And of course, we recognize that it's always the right time to do the right thing. So we would like to respond to the leaflet campaign and demonstrate that hate is not welcome here. First, we will begin with our chairperson of Waterloo Human Rights Commission, Teresa Culpepper. Teresa? Other commissioners?
Good afternoon. Community leaders are speaking out against the spread of hate and intolerance following a disturbing leaflet campaign recruiting for the Aryan Nation in neighborhoods across the Cedar Valley. The campaign, which promotes white supremacist ideologies, has sparked widespread concern and fear among residents. We strongly condemn these attempts to sow division and hatred in our community, said Reverend Abraham Funchess, Human Rights Director and pastor of Jubilee United Methodist Church. For those of us engaged in justice work, we will not tolerate any form of hate crime or harassment targeting our neighbors. The distribution of these leaflets coincides with an increase in reports of harassment and racially motivated incidents across the nation, as reported by the Southern Poverty Law Center. Local law enforcement and civil rights organizations are urging residents to report any threatening behavior or suspicious activity immediately. This is a time for resolve and resilience, Funchess continued. We call on all members of the community to stand together in solidarity, affirming our shared values of dignity, equality, and mutual respect. Hate has no place here. Community leaders and advocacy groups are organizing a press conference to address these incidents and provide resources for those affected. The press conference will take place today, and local officials and representatives from civil rights organizations, for example, we have the NAACP here, are present and will discuss ways to promote safety and inclusivity. That is our public statement. We appreciate your support. Again, I just want to reiterate, hate has no place here. And I would like to call up Chief Duncan.
Yes. Good afternoon. Thanks, Teresa. It has been a pleasure working with the Human Rights Commission through multiple years that I've been doing this job. We seriously take this matter with a heavy heart. We know that it affects many, many citizens in Waterloo. And this happened in Evansdale as well. We worked really hard in trying to figure out who did these. They did a concerted effort to hide their identity, did it in the middle of the night. I think we've identified some people that were involved, working with the county attorney's office, the state attorney general's office, and the FBI to try to figure out what kind of charges that we can bring forth and then move forward. We do ask that if anybody does have video from any of these folks that were throwing these flyers out to get a hold of us. We're continuing to work on it, and hopefully we'll get a resolve here soon. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Chief Duncan. And at this particular time, too, we want to move forward and have a statement from Tanya Graves, NAACP President of Black Hawk County NAACP.
Hello. So we, the members of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, are appalled by the abhorrent flyer advancing white power recently distributed in Black Hawk County. People of goodwill locally and in the state of Iowa must denounce this incredibly bold and blatant statement, espousing Nazi aneurysm, Aryanism, and advertising a network of racist, xenophobic, uncivil, sexist, and hateful rhetoric. We call upon the Federal Bureau of Investigation to join with law enforcement to identify those who have disseminated this information and to squash its advertised network of anti-Semitic, discriminatory, inhumane ideologies that assault the very nature of our democratic, pluralistic, and constitutional republic in which equality, fairness, and the rule of law are apparent. The officers, executive committee, and members of the Black Hawk County NAACP Unit 4012. I need new glasses. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Graves. An aneurysm is appropriate, I think. It's a community aneurysm that blocks off the life to the body politic. So anyway, at this particular time, we want to invite Executive Director Bishop Randy Jackson to come forward. And if there are any ministers in the audience, we invite you to stand as he represents the Ministerial Alliance of the Cedar Valley.
Good afternoon, everyone. We stand on behalf of the Eastside Ministerial Alliance, or as we've rebranded as the Cedar Valley Eastside Ministerial Alliance, and we've had a discussion as pastors here in the last week that hate will not be tolerated. It's not something that we stand for or stand with. We stand against any type of hate against anyone, and our belief is that everyone has a right to be treated with dignity and respect. And that is something that as a community in the city of Waterloo that we have to take on as a mantra for all of us, that we encourage one another, we uplift one another, and we stand to build each other regardless of what walk of life you come from. Our job is to make sure that we motivate one another to stand and to stand with solidarity with the Human Rights Commission, the police, and other entities, NAACP, and all those other entities that are working to stand against hatred in our community. Waterloo is a melting pot of individuals from all over, and so we have to make sure that we love on one another and we build each other up as a community, as a city, as some of us lifelong residents, that we stand together and that we acknowledge that hate will not be tolerated and that we love one another and we encourage one another to stand together. And so as pastors, that is what we're standing to represent. And as myself, the executive director of the Cedar Valley Eastside Ministerial Alliance, we want to encourage everyone to stand together. And as the saying goes, if you see something, do something. Don't sit by idle. Don't sit by quiet. If you know of the individuals that are going around promoting these things, share that information with someone so that we can help remedy these situations in our community, so that we're not standing with them by acknowledging our silence. We don't want to be silent in these matters. We want to stand together and speak out against it, to say again, as others have said, hate will not be tolerated, especially here in the Cedar Valley, in the Waterloo community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bishop Jackson, with the Eastside Ministerial Alliance of the Cedar Valley. Next, we would like to have representation from one of our notable marginalized communities in the group, who is also representing Riverview, a domestic violence outfit. We want to invite Commissioner Sam Blatt to come forward.
Thank you, Director. Hi, everyone. I'm Sam Blatt. I am the Director of Development and Public Relations at Riverview Center. We're located in downtown Waterloo. We provide 100% free and confidential services to people impacted by sexual violence in Iowa and also domestic violence in Illinois. We see the community need. We see the impact towards the survivors from these hateful acts. We see people who are scared and concerned, and oftentimes we know the intersectionality between people who are disabled, who are LGBTQ, who are not white, have a much higher statistic to be involved with sexual violence and be the survivor of sexual violence. And we are here to also say that hate has no home here in Waterloo or in our country. We will not stand for it, and we will work with the survivors who are feeling this impact to make sure that they are feeling safe and supported during this time of uncertainty and sometimes of people being scared. And that is okay, and we are there to support them. So again, hate has no home here, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Blatt. And last but not least, I think we have representation from the Beloved Community, the Project for Beloved Community. Is the Reverend Dr. Michael D. Blackwell out there? I'm trying to see, but I can't see everybody. Okay. All right.
Well, I want to take a different tact on what we're talking about here, because I would dare say that hatred has a home here in the Cedar Valley and in the state of Iowa. As you know, we are considered to be the second worst state in the nation as far as African Americans living in this country, behind Wisconsin. And Waterloo, Cedar Falls area is the sixth worst place in the country for Black Americans to live. And so, and this is based on racial disparities that have been occurring since the early 20th century. And so hatred and discrimination based on race has been around here for over a century. And so we're kidding ourselves if we do not recognize that it has found a home here. Now, I'm not from here, but I arrived here in 1995 to work at the University of Northern Iowa. And when I came here, I already discovered through the ACLU, through the Southern Poverty Law Center, that there were pockets of hate groups in Iowa. And that was 29 years ago. So this is nothing new. And it's high time that we deal with it in an investigatory way and arrest folks that are spouting forth this hate speech, whatever you want to call it, that are attacking people who have been historically marginalized in this area for so long. It's high time that we did it and that we acknowledge that we have failed over the past century and a half, bringing blacks here from Mississippi in 1911 to break a strike and segregating them in boxcars and then the triangle that still exists today. Yes. And so we need to address these issues in a deliberate and thoughtful and vigorous way. And it's high time we do it because people are suffering, and at a time we're at a juncture in which people can be afraid of what's going on because there's some kind of permission now out there that allows them to espouse this hatred boldly, audaciously, and we need to stop it right now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Amen. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Blackwell. Is there someone else out there that I'm inadvertently overlooking? Okay, Addie Kane.
I'm speaking on behalf of One Cedar Valley. The Cedar Valley should continue to have a focus on welcoming everyone and being inclusive, a community where everyone can create a home and thrive. We've been proud of the partnerships in our community and our community not subscribing to hateful rhetoric. Thank you.
Wonderful. So we certainly are grateful for all the voices that have shared here so far today. This is an effort, obviously, to present a united front against hate that is beginning to peek its head in a more visible way throughout the community. As Dr. Blackwell has already stated, of course, this is really a reflection of who we are. And so we have to be honest about what we're doing and be very intentional and deliberate about trying to stamp out discrimination and hate wherever it may raise its ugly head. And so, furthermore, we would like to take this opportunity to announce that we do have an International Human Rights Day commemoration on Tuesday, December 10, from 10 to 3 o'clock at the Best Western. So you can always call Waterloo Human Rights Commission, 319-291-4441. Speak with Nancy, the administrative assistant, and she will be able to give you some more information about that. The Department of Justice Community Relations Specialist Kelly Hams-Pearson will be one of the keynote speakers. She will be working in concert with some other people out of Cedar Rapids to not only address this issue, but also speak to some other issues that may arise in 2025. We also expect representation from EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, as well as Housing, HUD, Housing and Urban Development. And we hope to conclude with an exciting message from another speaker working on a doctoral dissertation, but it was something that has tickled the imagination of several people already in the Cedar Valley, and we're just glad that she has agreed to be with us. As I close, obviously, I would like to point out a word of encouragement that comes from Toni Morrison, since we are dealing with this critical issue at this particular time. She was pressed, obviously, to reach deep within when she experienced a political crisis during her time. And of course, she's died now 2 years ago, Toni Morrison. But this is what she said when she felt like her back was against the wall. She did not know where to turn. And she was encouraged with the following words that made her kind of perk up a little bit. She was told that this is precisely the time when artists go to work. There's no time for despair, no place for self-pity, no need for silence, no room for fear. We speak, we write, we do language, and that is how civilizations heal. Thank you.